Hello and welcome to this session on Lunch with Microsoft 365. Today we're going to be talking about Word tips. We're going to introduce 9 useful tips for Word. We're going to talk about the editor, how you work in multiple languages, how you get text translated, how to format your document quickly, how to get editing tips in Word, how to get your resume done, some fixes for accessibility issues for people with disabilities, how to go from voice to text, and how to go from text to voice. Okay, so without much further ado, let's go to the first one. So we're going to talk about the editor. The editor is a new feature in Microsoft Word, and if I open up my Word screen, just on the Home tab there, you'll see the editors right over here. If I click Editor, it's going to give me suggestions about what I'm doing. So you can see my spelling and grammar are good, my clarity, etc. And I have some settings in here which I can set, but I'm going to go in here and I'm going to just do some typing. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy, and I'll just type in something random, and what will happen is the editor is going to go and look at my data and look at my text, and it's found a spelling error, so really easy to fix. It's not going to let me fix anything. I'm just going to go ignore, and that will go and set it up so we're now fixed. So really easy way to get information on your clarity, conciseness, spelling and grammar. And this is really different to Word's old grammar checker. This is a absolutely super AI based solution to solve those problems. So nice and useful there. Okay, so the editor, a new feature in Office 365, which allows you to do a bunch of things with your documents. Next, edit in multiple languages. If I go back to Word, what will happen with my spelling and grammar check is it's going to primarily work in English, but I can make it work in US English. So if I type in, for example, pasteurize, in English Australian, that should be an S, but if I select that and go to review, and once I've gone to review, I click on editor, and I should be able to go up here to language, set my proofing language, and I can flick that to the United States. Actually, I need to select my text to do that, so let's set my language to be the United States there. I obviously still spelled that one wrong, so let's go and fix that. And you see here, that's got a Z. If I then copy that text, and I'm going to go further down, I'll paste it in, and this time I'm going to set my language to be Australian English. When it goes and checks spelling and grammar, you'll find that should actually be an S, and that will go and fix itself. So you see over here on the editor, let me just return. I've now got corrections in United States and Australia in English. So it's gone and picked up the different languages and shown me in the different languages how I can refine it. So nice and useful there to set your proofing language. Okay, so that's how to edit in multiple languages, but how about if we want to translate our text? Well, Word will actually allow us to translate text immediately as we go through and do things. So let's try this. I'm going to do some text I know the French for. The monkey is in the tree, and that should translate to Le singe est dans l'arbre. Let's give that a go. So right click, then we're going to choose translate, which is up here. Translate selection, and it's going to say, okay, what would you like to translate it to? And I'm going to go into French, please. French, Le singe est dans l'arbre. So that's cool. So I've now translated that text from English to French. So you've got the ability to translate your text into whatever language you want. Now this is machine translation, right? It's pretty good, but it's not 100% perfect. But it allows you to get your stuff translated into different languages for people really easily. So up here in the review pane, you've got the editor, obviously, translate and languages to make sure everything works the way you want. Okay, next one. Format your document quickly. let's say I'm working on some text. We'll go back to my document again. Let's Alt-Tab, back to Word. Here it is. And let's go and format some text. So let's say I'm going to go, okay, I want it to be in a wacky font. So let's choose Algerian. I want it to be 22 points. There we go. And I quite like that. What I can do is I can grab the Format Painter, and then I can just paint that format over anything I want. So I select some text, I click Format Painter, and I just use the Format Painter to go and paint that format wherever I want. So if I've got a really complex format with underlines and all sorts of things, I can actually make that happen, and see it's sitting there still translating my my data from English to French. So there we go, the quick brown fox, and I can go, oh yeah, and I can look at the translations and decide if I want things differently. So lots of so the quick brown fox jumps over. I've got par-dessus, but I could choose sur if I wanted to change that translation. So lots of things to help us get better translation there. So there we go, formatting our documents quickly. Now, if I just want some tips in Word, I can actually get Word to check my document to improve spelling, grammar, and everything else. And the way I do that in Word is I go Review, now to dive into the editor, and the editor goes and checks in all of our different languages we've used. Obviously I've got French now, I've got English, and all sorts of things. So the editor's giving me a bunch of different information. So checking the document from Review using the editor gives me all sorts of suggestions about what I can do, and it doesn't like that word either. What a surprise. Okay, so that's editing tips in Word. Next one is resumes. So we can use templates to build all sorts of things. I'm going to do a couple of things with resumes here, just for fun. In the last session last week, we talked about creating documents, but I'm going to go and create a new one. I'm going to search for a resume. And let's see if I can find, here we go, the blue-gray resume. That looks like that works. I'm going to create one of those. So here I've got all sorts of things, and is actually on the right hand side the LinkedIn Resume Assistant. So the LinkedIn Resume Assistant will actually, let's say I'm looking for a role as software engineer. Beautiful. I'm not going to add an industry, and I don't want an industry here, go away, and I'm going to choose C examples, and that will start getting me work experience that I can see. Here we are, that I can actually go and grab. That's all coming from LinkedIn, and I can go and look at those and build my resume to match the successful resumes from LinkedIn. So I've got articles, I've got language refinements, I've got jobs that are available if I wanted to see some. So there's all sorts of different things. So I'm looking, Fortitude Valley, let's have a look. Strong production views with Vue.js or React. There we go. A back-end software developer for Atlassian. So bunch of jobs there, a bunch of different things. So the minute I go to the resume, I start to get the Resume Assistant, which integrates with LinkedIn and brings me some really useful things to build and keep my resume up to date. The next thing we're going to talk about is accessibility issues. Now, that's making sure your documents and messages, because it's available in all Office applications, are available to people of all abilities. So let's go and have a look at my resume. I'm going to go to Review, and I'm going to check accessibility. Okay, so let's have a look. So I've got a warning, the reading order. So this is really useful. So people don't just read stuff on the screen, they have things called screen readers. And screen readers will read things in order on the screen. Now, when we've got complex tables like this document, you want it to come out in the right order. So this will tell you how to go and fix it. And there's also hard to read contrast. So light blue on grey is really hard to read. So you can go and fix that contrast, and you can use the Format Painter to take those formattings and move them wherever you want. It's important to get this right to make sure everybody can read your documents, not just yourself. Okay, next one of my favorites, is going from voice to text. So let me show you this one. I'm going to go back into my Word document. Let's go and create a new one, File New, Blank Document, and I can actually dictate. So I'm going to dictate in English Australia. Let's go. If I hit the button to dictate, it makes a little noise in my ear. And then as I start talking, it's going to write the document into Word, making sure that everything I say is actually written down and everything works as it should. So as you can see, this dictation actually works really well. Obviously, I'm using a good microphone, but if you're using a good microphone or headset, you'll actually find that without any training, this is able to create lots and lots of documentation for you just by you talking into a microphone and not by you typing on a keyboard. New paragraph. So once it's gone and built a new paragraph for me, which you should do here, I'm able to very quickly build, format, and create documents without having to spend time typing on the keyboard. Full stop. Now, if I stop dictating, I can go back into the editor, and the editor is going to come up and give me abilities to fix some of the things which are there. I've got a grammar issue. Let's put the comma in there, and I'll put a full stop at the end of that one, and I can do some punctuation. And fix some of the other things as it finds them. I've got a bit of formality, so there we go. So I can use the editor and dictator to create documents and documentation super quickly and don't actually have to go and do things. So that's going from my voice to text, but how about going from text to my voice? Well, what we can do is we can actually get it to read to you, and I use this a lot when I'm driving or doing other things like that, where I can actually get the document to read to me. So we'll select all of this. And we'll go review, and we have read aloud.
To dictate, it makes a little noise in my ear, and then as I start talking it's going to write the document into Word, making sure that everything I say is actually written down and everything works as it should.
So obviously it's not perfect, and I've got some different options. I can have James read it to me. Let's listen to James.
As you can see, this dictation actually works really well. Obviously I'm using a good microphone, but if you're using a good microphone or headset, you'll actually find that without any training this is able to create lots and lots of documentation for you just by you talking into a microphone and not by...
So as you can see, we can get it to, I know it's not perfect voices, but it's really good for reviewing a document. I can go from writing documents by talking to having them read back to me. So there's a few tips of things you may or may not have known in Microsoft Word. I hope you enjoyed the presentation today, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.